I want to end up like Zach.
Zach was done that night. And you can tell in the two different pictures. He looked entirely different, bro.
Testing. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Yeah, I'm good. My
You
fault.
good?
That's what you was asking.
You good? That is better. Thank you. Oh, that's not working for me though.
Can you hear me breathing yet?
Not yet.
It's all nostril.
You're not the
It's
worst.
all a nostril.
You're not the worst breather we've had on the show. Keep that out your face. All right, I think that'll work. Can I get my shit in? Yeah. All right.
Pee-pee caca, pee-pee caca. What?
It's the ones on top of the desk.
Yeah,
sir.
I peeped. I was like, I don't hear shit.
Sir, you put on the $50 headphones, not the $250 headphones.
Excuse me.
That's right. You're not the one who broke my Voltron.
Are these $250?
No,
we're
not
wearing
those.
$50 headphones too.
Sorry.
We're all wearing $50 headphones except for that pair. You think I can afford 4 pairs of $50 headphones?
Shit, I thought you
I
got it
don't
like
know.
that.
Maybe you got it like that.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's still not.
It's still not that other shit. Oh shit! Another week
up.
back in the room.
Big facts. Big motherfucking facts.
I don't have any preliminary. I feel like we're gonna waste content on preliminary shit this week. Is it me? No.
I don't know what you mean, my guy.
We might get too into the conversation and never start the show.
Hey, I guess we should start the show.
There's people, our loyal followers are like, is that a white guy over there? And they're curious as to who that is. So maybe we should get the shit popped off and introduce.
Facts. Let's get it motherfucking popping.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I am what I am, and I'm going to be the very best of what I am. And for those who don't like me confidentially, I don't give a damn. I'd like to thank you for letting me be myself.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the crib.
I'm Darien. The fuck? Like he forgot the fucking format for a second.
I'm Rahmonn, and this is episode 54.
Yep, 54.
Cheat sheet coming in handy. We have a guest in the audience today. I'm going to try and pronounce it correctly, and you correct me if I'm incorrect.
Sure.
Nick Racioppi.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice. I'm going to put some applause in there for myself. Yeah. We got 2 guests in the building today, which you'll see the other one later on. We also got my son, Chris, in the building today. Say what up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's also my son, so.
And this is also Nick's
He's my
son.
son.
We couldn't remember whose weekend it was, so we just decided to do the family thing together.
Joint custody.
But we're looking for another fun-filled 2 episodes, 2 funny guys. Why don't you tell everybody who you are first? We'll start.
First of all, thank you for the introduction. I thought that was awesome. I will be fucking up everybody's name in here, so I'll make up for it, I guess. No. All right.
It's Rahmonn and Darius.
Yeah. All right. Y'all ever just get nervous when you're about to say someone's name? You're like, oh, is that their name?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot. Yeah.
Darius Rahmonn. But it's like ramen.
It's Rahmonn.
Rahmonn.
You just look like a cop who pulled me over once.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. And I'm about to give you a speeding ticket.
Now he was questioning about my illegal New Jersey window sticker.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you got cars that don't pass inspection.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, no, but thank you for the introduction. My name is Nick Racioppi. I'm a comedian down out of Wilmington, North Carolina, and still active duty Marine, but I don't really like to dive too much into that stuff. Okay. Yeah, I just try and keep everything separate, but I'm a jiu-jitsu fanatic, husband, father.
Okay.
Everything, all the above.
All right.
It's fun. It's good stuff. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Before we get into that, what are you grateful for, sir?
I would have to definitely say it's got to be between my family or my brain.
Okay.
Both of them. Whatever, you know, like that, whatever that thing is that makes your body you, that thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely.
You got your physical stuff, but like every single one of us in here has a personality, and that's got to be something to be thankful for.
That is for sure.
That is a fact. That's
What
a
about you,
fact.
my guy?
Me, I'm thankful for growth, for coming a long way and trying to grow to be a better person than what I used to be. So I'm just happy for my growth and my trials and tribulations and shit I've been through and made it this fucking far.
That's what's up. I am grateful to our guest. I really enjoyed having your wife on the show last week. It was a neat perspective to see the other side of you and to get confirmation of all the things you said. Like when she said, "Get away from me with that shit."
Yeah.
And Nick reached out to us. This is the first time we didn't have to beg somebody to come on the show,
that's
so
a
we
fact.
appreciate you for that. But just grateful for everybody kind of joining in and being a part of the journey with us. That's super dope.
Yeah. That's
And
dope.
then last but not least, sir.
I feel like mine's not going to be as good as anyone else's, but definitely grateful for. I saw some old friends. They still treat me like I've never left. So it's great. So it's like I'm thankful for those relationships and those friendships.
Okay.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's dope as shit.
How'd you get into comedy?
Oh man, I'm a fucking attention whore,
Okay.
I guess. No, man. Even as a kid, I remember just always trying to be the center of attention. Call it like childhood trauma,
Okay.
but it's one of those things where I've always felt there's no situation that you cannot make funny, you know? And you see it like the best comedians. It felt like the right path to do. Some of the best comedians can make some of the most tragic things very funny. And I think that art form has kind of always called to me. I was a big fan of like sketch comedy growing up. So like Chris and I, we really kind of grew up in the, I would say, golden era of sketch comedy given to, like, I guess, worldwide platforms, right?
Okay.
We had, SNL. We had, which is contrary nowadays, but
I was gonna
I'm
say,
talking
you
when
guys
we were growing
SNL
up.
ain't as good as the SNL.
That's what I'm saying. But like even Farley, like the Adam Sandler days, even the Andy Samberg days where they started introducing the digital shorts. We had Chappelle's show.
That's
When
classic.
he went away,
Yeah.
that went Key and Peele.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
So
truth.
I've always taken a liking to comics and writers who push the envelope, which is, I think, part of the job, right? I find myself at work a lot of times. You can't talk about that. It's like, why?
Right.
What are the reasons?
Yep.
Because you have a bias and you don't want to listen to it? Or I understand not all my jokes hit, but, there has to be a point where like freedom of speech is allowed.
Right.
I don't agree with KKK, but the same way I'm not going to fucking hate speech on a liberal, I don't think we should really kind of get rid of everybody's freedom of speech, if that makes sense. Even if it is tied to, obviously, that's fucking hate speech and that's
Right.
terrible. But again, Dave Chappelle handled that hysterically.
Yeah,
you guys
he
remember?
Nah, yeah.
It's one of the best sketches
Clayton
ever.
Bigsby.
Yeah.
That was the best
Clayton
joke
Bigsby.
He
ever.
has to be a genius. Other than Richard Pryor, he's got to be my favorite comedian of all time.
It's interesting to watch him. What I really like about Dave of most recent is his ability to release content almost raw. He was like one of the first dudes to really like put in those videos of like backstage experiences, right? And you get to see him work through what he's planning on writing or not planning on writing.
Right.
Because for him, it's just, we're going to go where I want to go. And if a conversation goes a certain way, he finds the funny in it. And the reason he's so polarizing is because it happens on the spot. He's the GOAT of improv,
Okay.
you know?
Sorry, I was staring at Pro Tools because it looks like it wasn't moving. Right? It looked like it was standing still.
You good, bro? I looked at it for half a second. I see it moving.
I know, but it didn't. I didn't see any waves as he was talking, but I guess they're there. All right, it's fine. I just want to make sure. I'd hate to lose good content.
Did you
We're
fuck
all
up?
staring at Chris.
No,
I feel like everyone's staring at me.
no, I wasn't staring at you.
Talking about the little line?
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, because Nick's at the bottom and Nick.
But I can hear him perfectly fine.
Am I
Yeah,
in the
I can
mic?
hear you.
You guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if because I can't hear myself, but I guess that's a good thing.
Maybe I never plugged that in. Surprise, motherfucker! You just wearing that for show.
This will look like he's
Wait,
part of it.
Is that the episode? That would have been great if that was the episode that came out on the first.
What?
That he's wearing headphones that ain't plugged
Oh,
in.
shit.
I mean, we did talk about $50 headphones, so I guess Wish.com just got a free
It's like when you're
insert.
it's like when you're trying to play video games with your older brother. You're trying to play. You just give him the controller that's unplugged. It's not
Unplugged.
plugged in. Same
Nah,
thing.
fuck that. They used to do that shit to me all the time. that was some bullshit.
Wait, how do
We're
you do
still
that
doing
now?
it. You're-
Everything's remote.
But you thought you was playing, right? And you thought you
Nah,
was
yeah,
having
yeah.
fun.
We're still doing
yeah.
it. Your mic's actually not plugged in. So
Oh shit.
How did you two meet? I knew you met on a deployment, but like,
Yeah.
what was like? It was an interesting story because
It's two sides to the story. I'll tell you
there
that
is.
much.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go
Yeah.
first.
So they jumbled up room, I guess, arrangements a couple of times. So I finally get into this room, and I'm the last one to get in this room. It's him and our other friend Taylor, and there's just like what is it called, like a nightstand. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put my stuff on that because it's a nightstand and there's nothing on it.
Motherfucker
And he
loves
comes
this
in. I don't know this dude. Just he's like, hey, that's my stuff. Don't put it there. And I was just like, and like he was higher ranked than me or whatever at that point. So I was like, oh, good to go. And I took my stuff and I just kind of hid it in my closet. And I was like, man, I don't like that guy. He's just like an asshole.
and didn't you guys fight too? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah. It was forced though. So I'll tell my end of the story. This wasn't my first rodeo, as they say.
Yo.
And I hate getting fucked out of space, right? Like I'm a married dude. I have kids. Like they're essentially putting you back into a college dorm, right? With like two other individuals. I don't know how these motherfuckers live. You know what I'm saying? So you got to like assert yourself when you're looking for space, you know? And I said it in the most calm tone I could. I go, oh, don't put any of your shit in there. I've already taken that. And then I guess in his head, I turned into a shitty human being, setting boundaries in the room. And then I subsequently took the bottom rack. And then I guess that's also where it could have stemmed because I'm like, oh, and I have the bottom rack and he's got to sleep up in a fucking bunk bed for the next
Grown-ass man.
what would become 9 months of our lives. But yeah, no, the forced fighting. I am a fighter at heart. I love it. I've always loved it. And I found out that like my roommates didn't really know how to defend themselves. So in a drunken stupor of the night, we
That's not how that
and by
conversation.
we, I meant me, go, have you ever been into a fight?
No. Before that, you said, have you ever had any adversity in your life?
Oh, that's right. That's
Yo,
right.
That's
what
crazy
the
because
fuck
that's
you
how you
gonna
know you
think,
about
like,
to get your ass kicked.
adversity? The fuck you mean? Like no, hold on.
Hold on, is that 1, 2? That's 3 syllables.
And he always got into that mood whenever we would watch MMA replays for like hours, and we'd be drinking, and then that's how I knew he was about to start because he would always like stand up and like shadow box in the corner and be like, "Hey, y'all, real quick, let's just I want to show y'all something real quick." He's like, "This is how you jab, this is how you hook," and then he's like, "Now hit me."
What the fuck?
You know he gave you 2 red flags to not fight him. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you are aware of that, right?
Also-
but you know what? A proud dad moment.
Yeah.
He still stood there and took the ass whooping.
Right.
Though.
So
If it was an ass whooping, I don't know.
look, I'll say this: he's squirrely, is what I'll define that as.
Squirrely.
Also, I wasn't in the corner like by myself, like, oh yeah, fucking. It would start off like, I'm like, yeah, no. So like what? Because one of my favorite fights of all time, and if you're not a combat sports fan, especially UFC or anything like that, the first fight to like really test your might in that community is Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald, the second fight. So they fought a couple of times. And Robbie Lawler gets this nasty cut on his face. Rory I just said his name, goddamn.
Yeah.
Rory McDonald.
Neither one of us remembered it.
Rory McDonald gets his nose broken in so bad that it starts to indent and it's squirting blood every time he gets punched. And these guys are going, it is like 3-round war, right? And this fight goes the distance, or sorry, almost the distance. Rory McDonald gets TKO'd, which is a technical knockout. And every time I would watch this fight, that's when they knew that they're like, oh, right about round 2 is when Nick goes, yeah, right. So like what he wants to do here is slip and then hit him with a body shot and then hit him in the face, right? And you could feel the tension in the room. Like, all right, when's he gonna pop the question?
That's fucked up because you just gotta look over his shoulder, see him watching the video. Like, all right, time for us to get the fuck up out of here.
I'm surprised it happened so many times that they didn't just start looking at each other and going, should we just jump him first? Or
that's a good strategy.
That is
You know
a
what I'm
good
saying?
strategy.
We tried that though, and we
They
lost
did.
still.
God damn.
For reference, Taylor's like what 5'5" maybe.
yeah.
Skinny dude.
No, he's not 5'5". He's like our height.
I'm taller than I tower over you.
You don't tower, dude. That was a bold statement. Tower. Your father towers over me.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11". I feel like I feel so much taller than you.
Yeah, that's because you're wearing fucking heels. Dude.
I'm not wearing-
He's got them wish.com inserts, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to. His wife is super short for everybody that doesn't know who watches the podcast. So he's just like, I just wanted those couple extra inches, so I could just rustle her hair every once in a while and just be like, hey,
a little
babe.
nuggy.
Yeah.
All right. So we do this. We started this segment and we keep saying we're going to do it.
Sure.
And we keep forgetting to do it. But one of our beloved watchers, Michelle, sent us a photo. We've been asking people, send us a photo. We'll break it down. We broke this picture
Sure.
down Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It caused a lot of havoc. Some people went after my man because he was talking about the shitty fucking spread they had there. So we haven't done it a lot, but Michelle sent us this picture that you guys see there in front of you.
Okay.
And it's a little far because I had to pull it up on Instagram.
That's okay.
God damn.
But it's a lot going on here. So we break down what happens in these pictures. I'm really upset that I decided to wear the sneakers that I wore.
They look like him.
So first I'm going to say is this is not my home or anywhere I've ever lived or visited. We'll start
Okay.
there.
Oh, that's a rug underneath. I thought that was concrete. That's how sand it was.
Why the fuck have you been to Walgreens so much? Like, you need a hospital. Like,
Yeah.
There definitely is
Jesus
a lot
Christ.
of I even tried to zoom in when Michelle first sent me this picture to see if I could see what the prescriptions were for, but I could not zoom. It was not that clear of a picture. There is a lot of pharmaceuticals going on in there.
a lot of piss stains.
Y'all aren't even thinking about that's literally what the highway looks like after our car is rolled over.
That's facts.
There's no it's just like, and then like they're in the middle of the car just whoa, whoa, whoa. And that is just getting flung out of the car while they roll.
And so and then there's a Jersey Mike's bag there. I recognize that.
Is that a black light? Is that a light bulb?
Oh shit.
That could be a Christmas ornament. Maybe they're festive.
Maybe. Or
I don't know what that thing.
Those Jordans
is.
are fucked up though.
Yeah.
They look like maybe they're Shaqs. I don't know.
remember the Shaqs?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have as a kid. So Shaqs, I think, were a little bit before me, but I would have killed somebody for a pair of G units. Not even joking. I would have murdered for those shoes.
That's funny. I just posted that commercial when they did the cross commercial between G units and the S. Carters.
I was a ride or die for 50 Cent. Yeah. Shot 9 times, came back from the dead. I was like, this is Jesus.
You okay?
Yeah. Fuck you, bitch.
Yo, quick side note.
How many people were at the Last Supper?
12.
Many men.
Oh shit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. If y'all didn't know, if you haven't seen last week's episode, Darien does not play about his wife, right? So while I'm editing last week's episode, there's a point where I asked his wife a question. And it was related to an argument we had on it a couple episodes before that I said I would never mention again. And so I go, so I have a question to ask you. And it's just for you. And then you look over at him in the camera and he's giving me the evilest look like I'm about to ask her out for a date or some shit. And didn't even realize he did it until I sent him the clip and he says, oh shit, I didn't realize I looked at you like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I really didn't fucking realize it.
This man does not play by his wife.
I don't know.
Is he doing it right now?
Nah. I don't even know why the fuck Yeah, I don't play by my wife.
Hey, first off, just go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was because you told her to look at you and not look at me.
That's what it was. That's what it was. All right. My bad. I should ask permission first.
Look at me.
Now, I want to applaud all of you because all of you are young men in great relationships. And yeah, we'll just leave it there. Good job.
Thanks.
No, because you guys are all married. So.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's fuck. That's hard as a motherfucker, though. You know, it's hard.
It's a learning experience. It's a learning curve, and it's steep.
Yeah.
It's steep as hell.
Steep as
Yeah,
Them
it's
shits come
weird
out of
because like
nowhere.
I always tell my wife, I
How
like
long you been married, real quick?
shit, it'll be 10 years in June.
Wow. So you got married at 20.
I was 19.
19.
Same.
You were not 19.
No,
but-
I was 21.
Smarter move.
But we was already
Smarter
together
move.
for like 3 years.
Smarter move. Yeah. Yeah.
I applaud you guys' intestinal fortitude because
Thank you.
something was wrong with me. I couldn't make it through it.
Yeah.
So
That's it, man. It's really just sticking to it. I tell my
Yeah.
wife all the time, it feels like I like to think of it. I always need like a visual representation of something when I think of it in my head. And being married is a lot like radio waves, if you've ever seen those. And when you're in sync, because it's overlapped, right? It's similar to like the sound stuff. When you're in sync and it's fine, like you're both on the same frequency, it feels great. But then like one little conversation, one little this was in the earlier years, but like any little thing that would mess that frequency up just a little bit, and especially for us, like I was deploying like crazy.
Okay.
There was 2 years in a row where I had spent 6 months in the United States.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And so with that, right, distance doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get out of sync, but it's a lot easier. So like if people are listening and they're like, why is this happening? You know, why do I just not feel like we're good? We're not arguing, but we just don't feel like a team. 100%, you're just out of sync. You guys got to find something to like level y'all back out. That's it.
Yep.
That's how I
really
see
what
it.
it's about.
No, because
Find-
I applaud all of y'all because I feel like we missed something in that picture, but
We could come back to it. Let me think on it.
I applaud all of y'all because at that age, you're learning how to be a man. You're figuring out who you are. You're learning how to be somebody's partner and husband. If you have children, you're learning to be a father. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I applaud you. I did not make it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chris is like, shit, I'm the one going to therapy for it right now.
I'm still dealing with it.
No, but I
Oh,
applaud. I just
shit.
I don't want to deep dive into it. I just wanted to applaud all you guys because it's not easy.
Thanks.
And you all worked through it 10 years. Wow. 10 years,
Yeah.
3 years,
Five
five years already?
this year. Yeah.
Damn.
Ooh, I hope my math's not wrong. That'd be embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be.
That's why we don't record lives. I can always edit it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, yeah, it's about, and then it goes just
Arlene, I
Christian.
did not edit it. He
yeah,
got it right.
yeah, just Christian going 3 years over the audio.
No, we have a video like that. Well, we used to shoot videos as kids
I
with
know.
him, and
Oh, I know.
I forgot to say a line or something, and it's just
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like 10 years old at the time,
Yeah.
so I have like a really high pitched voice, and he edits his voice into it where I miss my line. It's like, yeah, we good.
That's right.
What was that? What was it called? Cornstarch 2 was like
Cornstarch too.
we're like drug lords, mind you, in this thing. It's probably not the most appropriate thing for 10-year-olds. And
And the funny part about it is, so I had gotten into wanting to make films. We started making films at work, and I said, I want to do this for fun.
Yeah,
And so me and the kids would do it during Christmas break. Usually they were with me.
yeah.
And some creative children like their dad, and we would just write these stories. Well, I had done all this research, and I learned how to make, they call them squibs, I think, like the little exploding packs of
Yeah.
that you got blood. So we were so proud of this video we made where my 8-year-old son was buying some cocaine.
Okay.
I really am toxic, aren't I?
Oh, it started at a young age, my guy.
My 8-year-old son's buying some cocaine that happens to be flour, and then he gets mad at his drug dealer and he shoots him.
Okay.
With a very realistic looking pistol. So we were all proud of this project, right? And at the time I was married to my third wife, and she's adopted. She has Caucasian parents, right? and they don't understand the creative vision that, you know, the things that you grow up with, the visuals you see in the hood. So they didn't really see my directorial debut. So we put this thing on at Christmas time at their house. We showed them this video. And we're expecting this raving applause like, man, we're so proud of you guys. Look at what you created. And they're all just looking at me like, I'm calling motherfucking DYFUS.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck I would think if somebody showed me their kids selling cocaine. Like, well, like, are you training them? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The beginning has the stove boiling with the baking soda next to it.
Shit, yo.
It's really genius because if you build up enough rapport with the local police, they're just like, oh, it's just flour. But then they start really panhandling, so they start really moving weight.
I have to figure out how you do that YouTube card thing where they have the link to the video.
Yeah.
Because the videos are still on YouTube. But it became popular. Like your friends wanted to be in the videos. Like the last one we did, they also wanted to be in the videos. It was a fun thing.
I am still made fun of to this day about that music video.
Yeah, mostly because
He's seen it.
Mostly because you'll show people, they see it, and then they make fun of you for it. You're the one doing it.
Oh yeah, I put
It's
myself out there.
100% preventable. We spent probably a month, and it's not that it's like bad work. I think it's really awesome, but
Someone said child abuse. We were out in the snow.
Yeah.
No coats.
Some of those music videos, that shit was too funny, dude. Not me. I was there was like times where I would get into some stuff and the adults around me had no fucking idea. But then there were other times where like you have like just a little bit too much, you start pushing those boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh. Except it's like 3:00 and your like uncle's wondering, why are you saying oh right now? Oh, I'm standing here and everything's moving. So yeah, I can totally get how that happens.
Pretty insane.
How old are your children, if you don't mind me asking?
They are old enough to speak.
Okay.
No, they're 6 and 7.
6. Oh, your kids are young. Okay.
And they back to back. God damn.
We did it right. We did it right.
You think that's the right way?
Yeah, because as soon as one's done with something, the way it works, especially as toddlers, just passed right. Like we got to keep it like stuck around the house for 3 or 4 years. And then as soon as they were both out of it, it was like, foop.
Okay.
Just got to
So
clean
you're
shit
done
up.
no more?
Oh, yeah, I'm snipped.
Yeah. Oh, smart. Yeah.
My
Best
man.
decision ever.
I got beef with his son too. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Huh?
I got beef with his son.
Yeah, he does.
I'm counting the days until he turns 18, and we're fighting. We are scrapping.
I'm going to hear more about this story.
my
It'll
little-
be fucked up if his son whoop your ass.
That
too.
would be.
Yeah, I know, right? Runs in the genes.
Because your kids,
They do
I think I've
jujitsu.
seen pictures of your kids do jujitsu
Yeah,
too.
they
Right?
do.
He'd be out there. That's my boy. Like,
And what's crazy about our family is that even if like the wife wants to jump, like let's say it's like a family on family clash, all of us train. My wife is like the same belt as me. So like
Oh, shit.
if some chick wanted to come up and like grab my wife's hair, like it's a wrap. I was like, oh, you grabbed me? Good. I'm going to fucking break your arm now.
It makes me think of that Dave Chappelle skit where the guy, when Keeping It Real goes wrong, and
Yeah.
the guy's like, he didn't realize that he goes out
Punches
just to
him.
start bar
Yeah.
fights,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah,
practice.
That was the one where, oh no, that was the slow-mo one I was thinking where he gets punched out of his Air Forces.
oh yeah.
I have dreams about that. Like that literally terrifies me.
And you're originally from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Jersey native.
North or south?
Central. Hot topic of debate.
Do you not believe in Central Jersey?
There is
Yeah.
no Central Jersey. It's North
Oh my
and South.
God.
Literally, the way, and it's so funny when I hear this argument because if you look at how people qualify North and South Jersey, it doesn't meet. There's a section in the middle that creates Central fucking Jersey. Because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do know
It's
exactly
like
what
the
you're talking
head of
about.
Jersey and then like the butt
That-
of Jersey. That's South. What do you call the thing in the middle?
See, I've always, and I think it's a newer thing, I've always qualified it as, because if you pay attention, the further south you travel, people stop rooting for the Giants, Mets, and
Sure.
Yankees, and they start rooting for the Phillies, Eagles, and
Yeah.
whoever,
Yeah.
the Phillies,
Yeah.
and Eagles.
The traitors.
And so I always say that's to separate. Matter of fact, I refer to it as East Delaware. I don't even refer to it as South Jersey.
Interesting. That's a weird take.
The culture is very similar.
Yeah.
Because where I work, a lot of people cross the bridge because the where
Sure,
I work,
it's
there's
a
no
commute.
place for them to go to on their side of the bridge. So a lot of people cross the bridge to come there, and they're just like Delawareans. It's East Delaware.
Delawareans. That's definitely the first time I think I'm saying it on this podcast. First time ever.
In life.
Ever.
I mean, have you ever been to the state?
Are we here now?
Yeah. We are in fact here.
Yeah. All right. No. I mean, I drive through it. I don't know what you
It's a drive-through
qualify
state.
as.
That's what Uncle Dave says. He says he just thought Delaware was a rest stop on 95.
Yeah.
Some of us fucking live here.
They got that one rest stop with the weird ass Burger King in there. You know what I'm talking about? Right before
Auntie
the bridge.
Anne.
yeah.
Auntie Annie's. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You just saw it probably
nothing here.
driving home.
That's-
Half the rest stops are closed down.
Yep, on the
Yeah.
turnpike. Yep.
Yeah. It's
They're,
like,
they're under construction, it looks like. Or I don't know if they're getting torn down or what, but
I think after COVID and all the employee shortage, they just couldn't maintain. Like,
How wild is that, you know? I'm out here trying to do anything but work, and these motherfuckers want to force me into a job.
got him.
That's facts.
It's wild.
they're different. And I guess, I don't know where you get. A lot of times, Darren would tell you, I'll be at work and I would look at him and look at one of our employees and I look at him and I go, I swear to God, I hope my kids don't act like this at work.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
They are a different.
Whatever they're doing.
They're a different breed of, and it's not even you guys' age group. It's kind of closer to your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even younger than your age. I mean, I don't know if that's the same generation, but they're younger than your age group. Most of the people that work with us, but they're a different
How old are you, Chris?
breed.
I'm about to be 25 this year.
He had to think about it.
Yeah. After 21, it all blends. I'm still old. I feel old as shit.
Y'all remember when you were a kid and you saw a 30-year-old? That you were like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
motherfucker
motherfucker
old.
Now here you
It's
are.
close.
That's a fact.
Um,
Pushing 30. Mm-mm.
It's just the common sense shit. Like I had a scary thought at work last night. And you know how you watch TV and some emergency fucking happens? And then the person with you has to call 911 and they're like, the ambulance won't get there in time, so we're gonna talk you how to cut a tracheotomy
Sure.
until we get there. And I thought about the person that was working with me. And if I heard the 911 operator giving them instructions to get, I would just cover my mouth and die. I'd rather that than this person trying to give me a tracheotomy.
Yeah.
I don't even think they could follow the directions.
Yeah.
I've watched enough medical shows to know to feel for the soft spot, and that's where you fucking cut. And that's without being given directions by an actual medical professional. And I'm not confident that this person would be able to follow the directions.
They gonna slit your fucking throat.
They say go under the chin.
They're gonna have a pin in my fucking ear, thinking that's I would just snap my own fucking neck. Right
Yeah, it's a little
Last bit of your
skewed
strength.
for us.
Yeah.
It's skewed for us in that sense because a lot of us do already get that training. But I don't know. I've been out of the retail and like food service industry for a while now, and that's like the only prior experience I really had to a like federal salary job.
Okay.
But even in the military, sometimes you're like, that motherfucker, like, that's a one-term guy right there. He ain't.
No, like, you thought you knew dumb, and then you join, and you're like, oh,
That's gonna be scary
that's
though,
dumb.
because these people are also have military careers, no?
It's usually those people tend to be a product of their environment. So if you have a very micromanaged unit, people are going to behave in that manner, right? So like if you're constantly being told what to do and how to do it, those are the units that usually there aren't really free thinkers there. Whereas if you have kind of the time and area to promote like small unit leaders to think for themselves. And small unit is usually anywhere from like 12 to 13 guys is like what we call like TO.
T.O.
TO is what the fuck is it?
You're not breaking OPSEC, are you?
No.
It's operational security. I just wanted to act like I knew something.
I don't know.
Sorry.
TNO.
Is it technic? I feel like it's like task organized.
Task
What is
or
vacuuming?
No, either way.
It's task something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, it essentially like it's a really good business model
Okay.
because everybody kind of manages 3 people. So all the way down to the lowest level, you have 3 people. And then the level above you is 3 people in charge of the team of 3 people.
Okay.
And then above that is a platoon in charge of 3 squads, in charge of 3 teams,
Oh.
in charge of 3 people.
Mm.
And then above that, it's 3 companies.
Do you think it's needed though, that level of checks and
It's-
balances all the way down?
It's good in the sense that one, you for sure need checks and balances, which is why there's always 2 people usually in command. So it'll be whatever the officer is and then whatever the senior enlisted is. And the divide between that is one is college educated and kind of goes to more academic schools, where the enlisted, usually our schools are a lot more hands-on, more technically proficient, more like trade schoolish, if
Okay.
I were to assimilate it. And with that, you kind of get the brains and the brawn all in one like leadership unit, right?
Okay.
And the way that works is, you can have a really bad enlisted person, but it'll balance out with a good officer.
Okay.
And then you can kind of look at it like a quad chart. Well, then you can have a really good enlisted, somebody who really knows how to mentor, who knows how to like really check on their guys genuinely, not like facetiously or because they have to,
Right.
right? And then you can just get those inter swapped too, right? You can get a really bad officer with a really good staff NCO who knows how to like keep that dude at bay, so he's not micromanaging everybody. Or you can have the worst, which I've had before, a really bad officer and either a shitty leader on the enlisted side or no leader at all, which happens very often because we're at such a shortage. And if your enlisted leadership goes to a school or something, you're kind of
Just gapped.
You're
That's
left.
crazy because you think about the shortages and what we do every day too, but then you start thinking shortages in the military.
yeah.
I just read an article about a fucking mothership in the atmosphere that nobody's talking about
Yeah.
and shit.
Mhm.
And our military. I got a question for you. I think I've asked you this before,
I know
but
what
it's
you're
always
saying.
fascinated me. You know what I'm going to ask,
I'm
right?
pretty sure.
Yeah. So there's 5 branches. I mean, I guess if you count the Coast Guard too, right?
Yeah.
So Marines, Army, Navy, Coast Guard,
Air Force.
Air Force.
Air
Force,
Force,
Space
and now
Force.
Space Force. So
Yep.
6. So if there are 6 generals from each of those branches, somebody has to be in command. Who would it be?
No. So that's where you get the that's who the Secretary of Defense is.
Let's say he's not around.
Joint Chiefs of
Like-
Staff.
Joint Chiefs
What's
of
that
Staff.
stupid movie? No, it wasn't stupid. It was a show where everybody happened to be in the Capitol building and they blew it up. Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
So let's say they were all there, like in Designated Survivor.
Okay.
Is one branch leader ahead of another?
Does one supersede is what you're
That's what I meant to say.
I think we all know that Coast Guard isn't going to be in charge of it.
Being honest.
We think you guys are really cool, right? But that video of like the submarine off the coast of fucking Somalia or Jamaica, wherever it was, the dude's like banging on the top hatch. Badass video. That was the coolest thing you guys have done since your inception. So,
It's sad to say, but when I think of the Coast Guard, I think of like Baywatch.
okay.
That's what comes to mind.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Baywatch.
Yeah. And I feel bad too because I love my uncle. My uncle's a really endearing figure to me, but I bust his balls all the time too on the Coast Guard because he did some Coast Guard and so did my cousin. They both serve. So, but no, I think if it were so, and usually, I would say it's most likely going to be the Army.
Okay.
Out of priority, just because they have more people, they have kind of more of
assets.
the assets.
Really?
Yeah, and if China's listening, it's all Googleable. No, but yeah, I think it would go like that, and then because we like the Marine Corps, while we are a service, we're technically Department of the Navy. So we're usually like on the chopping block. Although, like, if something like that were to happen, where like there's a bomb that goes off, you would kind of assume that the Space Force takes it because they're future thinking anyway. So they're like, "Yo, everybody, chill.
Right.
We got this." Actually, we're still just trying to figure out where our bases are. So never mind. You guys have it.
That's a good question. I'll Google it. I don't want to bore everybody with that, but
They missed a whole opportunity. It could have been called Space Marine, something cool, like I play Halo. I'm a big Halo kid.
right now.
Yeah, Halo's
If
that
I can get the title of Space Marine,
I would change it in a heartbeat.
It's an inter service transfer. I'm transferring stat.
But every badass movie I've ever seen where there was this lone person who had to save the day
Sure.
was a fucking Marine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's only usually because the term Marine is realistically supposed to cover on like 2 environments, right? So like when you think of like marine, like amphibious operations, so moving from sea to land,
Right.
the reason for that, because essentially that's what we are. We're the Army for the Navy in the grand scheme of things,
Okay.
right? Like they get us there, they taxi us, and then we fight the battle. Everybody kind of forgets about that because we just went into a 20-year war on land.
Right.
That, that's kind of our sole purpose is amphibious operations.
Okay. that makes
Expeditionary
sense.
Force, yeah.
Yeah,
You also do a podcast.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, let me commend you first because
Thanks.
Our normal listeners know that I was begging Darien for about 6 months, like Halle Berry and Jungle Fever, to do a podcast with me. And when he wasn't budging, I considered one of my friends said, "Why don't you do it by yourself?" And I'm like, I don't know if I could sit there and talk to myself. I mean, I talk to myself all the time, but I don't know if I can sit there on camera and talk to myself.
Yeah.
And you do it really well. Like, it's entertaining.
Thank you.
No, it really is entertaining. I don't catch
appreciate
every
that.
episode. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, I watch everything."
Yeah.
But I check out your shit, and I'm like, "Wow, I'm entertained."
Yeah. Thank you.
And I remember when it was an idea, and
Yeah.
then to see the idea in reality,
Yeah.
well over what I thought you would have started with. Like, you got the whole setup and everything. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which, if you guys were to, I'm going to plug it, but Inside Me podcast, go to my Nick Racioppi on YouTube or my Instagram. All that stuff's on the link tree. But yeah, no, it kind of started off from the deployment, really. I was like a big fan of comedians and what they do on podcasts. And it's weird because we're hitting this zone now where most comedians want to pull away from social media, but it's such a engraved thing for comedy.
Okay.
Like Twitter, you can post a news article and then just write a one-line joke, and that could get like a bunch of retweets, or you like start building some stees, as the kids would say.
We don't say that.
I'm about to say, help, I'm an
Yeah.
elder.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you have
been all
gray
of
hair,
us.
you have no
That's-
idea what it means. I have some grays too, but no, it just kind of, the inception of it was, all right, if I want to do comedy and the world's shut down right now, what's the best way to get my content out, or at least my thoughts? And it was a podcast. So it started as like a microphone, blank wall behind me. Then I had like a fucking one neon light that my wife happened to buy like a couple of years ago. And I put that up behind me. It just had Good Vibes. So for a while, people were thinking that the podcast name was Good Vibes. And I'm like, if anybody knows me, they know that like that is not what I would name my shit. Like,
And a million years.
yeah. I'm a very intense individual sometimes. So like Good Vibes, yes, but like some of the shit that I talk about is just not transferable into that. And then, yeah, I would eventually, we moved and I was like, you know what? We have a spare bedroom. Why don't I just throw it up in there? I'm from Jersey. So I was like, I really love like the northern like brick inlay. I love
Right.
like the lead piping, wooden shell. Like I want to make it feel like I'm kind of there for a second. And yeah,
Real
so
quick
that's what
sidebar. It did, because I didn't realize until he and I were having a conversation that you still lived in North Carolina.
yeah.
So it felt very much like watching somebody at home
Yeah.
do their podcast.
Yeah, thank you. That was the goal behind it.
Okay.
And yeah, everybody complimented it really well. And you know, the whole set design, it wasn't like I brought somebody in, like it was all me. So that was what was really cool. It was like the payoff for me that like, oh, I have an idea, let's do this. And like all the knickknacks like completely represent me. It's nothing but comic books,
Right.
some pictures and like Polaroids that I've taken of with some of the guests and stuff like that. So like all of it is just me, and that was really cool. And then once I started comedy, after like my first open mic, it was just like I had this new spark because now I was doing everything that the professionals were doing. I already had the podcast. I didn't have the viewership or anything like that,
Right.
but you know, it felt like a step in the right direction because I'm like moving towards. All right, now it's like I think Kevin Hart said it once. Like if you want to be, he didn't say if you want to be the best, you got to act like the best, but like he said something to that.
Kind of like people say, dress
That
for the
effect.
job you want.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And so that was me dressing. I remember what really pushed me into the like direction of comedy was I was a JRE Joe Rogan Experience fan for a while, and he had Kevin Hart on, and he's like something to the effect they were talking about comedy, and he's like, what steps have you taken to like move towards the thing you want like right now? And I was like, what steps? I mean, I've done the podcast, but like, is that that's not comedy? That's something completely different. So September 16th of 2021 was like my first day ever stepping on a stage. I'll never forget it. It was fucking awesome.
How nervous were you?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
So here's the thing. So Wilmington in North Carolina.
Oh, I was like, you did it in Wilmington?
Yeah, not here. Imagine. So it's about an hour and 10 minutes away. All right. I travel by myself. Nobody is coming with me. I get there. I sign up. This is like, I've already been calling for months waiting for them to reopen because they had also moved locations, I believe, and then remodeled the venue itself. So like they were still just waiting to open again for COVID after COVID. And I'm calling like every month or so, right? They finally have it. And they're like, yep, we'll be doing open mic this Thursday. And I'm like shaking because I'm like now, because like, you know, like when you're about to start something and it's just all talk, you're like excited to tell people just to like gauge on where they sit with it. And I remember telling people and they're like, oh, that's going to be really cool. Like you're super funny, whatever. They're kind of hyping me up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am kind of funny. So that's like, it's getting to that point. And then night of, I drive, I'm like super excited. I get there and then all of the nerves hit me at once, right? The list to sign up isn't out yet. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go home. Like, I can't do this by myself. Like I can't. And now I'm just like in this, like, it's like, it felt like I was in a washer machine and it was just on like a heavy cycle and the water in there. I'm just like, I'm like
emotional
flowing.
roller
Yeah.
coaster. Yeah.
And I'm just getting flooded with all this stuff. And, you know, you're not going to make it. So like, what's the even point? Like come back with a friend. So at least you're not here alone. And, then I stopped and I was like, well, hold on, pause. Why are you here? This is what you want to do. This is the first day of your next career. Like this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. And you're going to sit and drive in silence for an hour and 10 minutes on your way home. Do you want to do that to yourself right now? So I was like, I guess not. Right. So I sign up, I'm getting even more nervous. And at that time it was, it's 3 minutes of material. I don't know, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. There's like they'll hit you with what's called the light. And that's to like show you like, all right, whatever you're saying, wrap it up. Your time's almost done on stage. I'm like trying not to be weird. And I'm like asking questions to like other comedians. And it's cool to see it now as an experienced comic.
Right.
To see somebody on their first day. Cause it's like, fuck, you know, seeing them reminds you of how you are.
Right.
And, yeah, so I get up and I didn't like crush, but I got laughs on my first one. And, you know, the booker there, I remember her being very encouraging and was like, you know, just, that was good. Keep up with it. You know, just be consistent, you know? And, which felt, really, it's weird isn't it weird when somebody who isn't family or friends compliments you? For some reason it hits so much better. Does that happen for y'all?
Yeah, nah, that is the truth.
Like it's completely unwarranted and they're like, you know what, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like a stranger, yeah.
It's a stranger,
See,
and you're
I'm
like,
so
why does
used to
that
it now
last?
because I've learned through several years of doing creative shit that you find, for whatever reason, you get more support from people you don't know than people.
How
you know.
isn't it so interesting?
It used to disappoint me,
Yeah.
and I've just accepted that's the way because I'm so opposite, right? I could never watch your show, but if I wanted to support you and I said I was going to support you, I bet you I play it so you get the count and the algorithm, and I bet you I'll create a notification so that every time you post something, I know I can like it, save it, and share it. And that's me, and it's just so many people aren't that.
Yeah. Like when I think about how many strangers I've packed into a room and performed in front of, and then how many like members of my family have come to those shows, wildly different, you know?
Yep.
Mostly because most of my family's dead.
I didn't know whether to
I
laugh
don't
or
know.
not.
I was about to say.
Back to you, Darien.
No, it's a wild thing, man. It's crazy. I've grown a lot just because the thing about comedy that I don't think a lot of people understand is the ones that the ones that are really good are the ones who know how to take what they're experiencing and not just make a joke out of it, but make it relatable, right? A lot of people, and I'm still doing this, will just write to write. So there's like one-liners, there's like two-liners, then you can have like more exposés or story-driven comedy. And I'm sure as I, name those genres, you can probably think of a few comedians who maybe tell stories rather than, one-liners or punches, right? Like punchlines. So it's made me grow because now I'm like revisiting a lot of shit that I've like stuffed deep down. And you're like, well, how can I make this funny?
Right.
Like I remember 9/11. Well, what do I remember about 9/11? What do I remember that day? Well, I remember, getting mad because the towers came down and that day was like pizza day. And I was pissed I couldn't get
Fuck them towers. I want that pizza.
Yeah.
My old ass is like, your job gave you pizza day?
That fucking
We was in
that
school,
strawberry
bro. We was in school.
That strawberry milk I was about to fuck up, you know what I'm saying? And I remember
1 inch sliced pizzas, like
You know what
the
I'm saying?
thinnest little slices.
Yeah. And so like the best jokes are the ones that come from that, It's a place of like the reason the comics that are so famous, you like them so much, the reason they feel so polarizing is because in some way you either relate to that person or they're saying things that kind of resemble or resonate with you in some form or fashion, which is crazy because now if you look at my Netflix, like the comedy section, I'm going through that like a fucking Pornhub page now. It's just like, all right, I've already seen this one. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. And it takes me like 20 minutes to pick it because I love watching, like if I've never seen a comic before, I love watching that special because there's something in there that I can learn from, that I like the way they deliver or the way they.
So you actually study your craft.
I try and study it to the best of my ability because and there are levels to this shit, right? So like every 6 to 8 months, and that's only twice now, I guess, since I've been doing comedy. Did somebody just fart?
You can tell he's a professional because he didn't even flinch.
He kept
The
going.
three of us. Or it's because we black and we was trying to figure out if we were supposed to run or not. We all heard. You heard it? Well, you all heard that, right?
Yeah. I don't know
What
what
the fuck was that? You didn't hear that?
I heard it. I'm also kind of
Shit
deaf.
growling.
Oh,
Yeah.
was that your stomach?
I think that was my shit growling. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I belched like 2 seconds before, and then I had this little weird shit, and I don't know. I was trying to slide past it. But you had to bring it up. That's fucked up.
I thought I heard something crawling around in my fucking head.
Oh
My bad.
shit!
He was like, "Did you hear that?"
All right, quick thing I'm gonna do.
Sure.
I'm gonna name some comedians,
Yeah. Go for it.
and I want you to rate them on a scale. Or is that damaging to your career if I ask you to rate them?
No, because I mean, it's all That's what's really cool about comedy. It's all subjective.
That's true, and it could be like 50 Cent got popular by dissing everybody
Becoming
in the
Jesus.
industry.
Yeah.
To becoming Jesus.
Think about it. If Kanye West had not released Jesus Walks, but 50 did, you'd be like, that's him.
Shit.
That's him. That's him.
Yo.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
No, just scale of 1 to 10. No explanation.
I'm gonna go 9.
9, really?
Yeah.
I might ask for an explanation. Okay. Eddie Murphy.
10.
Dave Chappelle.
Are we doing only black comics or?
No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I was like,
Come on.
I think I was naming my top in my head first. That's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it came from.
I was like, am I becoming? It's that fucking the Spider-Man. You know. Dave Chappelle is 10. If there was an 11, I would put him there.
Ali Wong.
I don't really watch a lot of her stuff. I've seen one special from her. I think I would put her at like a 5.
Okay. Wow,
Bill
5
Burr.
out of 10?
Yeah.
Bill Burr.
That's who I was going to next.
He's an 8 or a 9.
Really? Just an 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still a high number.
That is a high number.
it's-
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah,
Bill
because the
Burr's
way
also one of my
the way I'm doing it is, and the rationality in my head is that 5 is the minimum for you to get to that level.
Okay.
So for me to go below 5 means you probably need some more time before releasing your next special, or like make sure you really polish up the next thing that you release, because it wasn't as funny as these fucking killers who are releasing specials every year and a half, 2 years.
Amy Schumer.
I don't really fuck with her. I would put her at a 4.
Okay.
I can kind of see that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. God, it's a guy that I think is hilarious. He's an older Jewish guy. I know that doesn't narrow it down much.
Yeah, it's like half of comedy.
Glasses. Oh, fuck. He used to have a bunch of specials on HBO.
I don't know who the fuck that is. Joe Coy, though. That's my question.
Joe Coy,
Yeah.
he's up there. That's like an 8 or a 9. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't-
He still ain't think of it.
No.
Isn't it crazy?
I was about
I'm
to
not
say, you
going to
looking
just
around
give
for
a-
confirmation.
You're not Filipino. But it's so crazy how he wants you to be Filipino. Like he wants you to like, I wish I was Filipino so I could fucking
Yeah.
like have that like
Facts.
that resemblance with the
That's
culture. Because
facts.
my wife's Filipino
Oh, shit.
and she fucking loves like that's
Is your wife Filipino?
yeah, she's
I did not
Filipino
get that from watching the video.
and Dominican. Yeah,
I got Dominican.
she's
I didn't get
island
Filipino.
gal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you have a hard time getting accepted in the family?
no,
No?
they welcomed me.
They thought you had money?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately. And then we got married, and they were like, "Hold on, we're paying for what?" Yeah, no. Yeah, and the only reason I say Amy Schumer is like she's got a chink in her armor, right? When you think of like a comedian who's like solid, not the sex scandals or fucking drug use. None of that shit matters. The only thing that matters is your craft. There's one thing you got to do. You got to be able to write, and you got to be able to perform your shit. Right? Those are like the two. That's the only. Other than a mic, that is the only fucking thing you need. It's your brain, your words, your performance. And she got a chink by and that's not. I didn't mean that as like a. You guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A chink. We're not talking about Ali Wong here. It's Amy Schumer. But that abrasion, I'll say, in her armor is she did get, there were talks that she wasn't writing her own shit. So
No.
to me, that whether it's true or not, like it's not like rap where you can kind of have a ghostwriter.
No, you can't. I mean, not my era.
That's what I'm saying. Well, and I 100% agree with that. There's no way some of these kids, the way they're rapping, actually, like as I'm thinking about this sentence in my head, like most of them are just saying Zanny bars and like other shit. So yes, I guess they can keep writing it, but like if you have a ghostwriter, yes, in the community, it's fucked up, and it's the same with Amy Schumer. Like the ghostwriting shit doesn't.
I had one
It
more
doesn't
question, and it's kind of tied into Aziz Ansari. I'm sorry. Am I saying his name?
Yeah, Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's I would do a 7
Okay.
or an 8. He's getting to that, you know.
I think his special after his scandal was really honest. I like the way he did
Yes.
it
And why did you like it?
because it was relatable.
It was relatable. It was honest.
What I was gonna say when you talked about the writing thing, so I didn't understand that comedians had writers.
Sure.
Probably until I watched Funny People.
Yeah.
And so how then is she scrutinized for having people write her shit if other comedians have teams of writers?
It almost feels like she may have felt pressured to do it because she was releasing specials. So, like, if you're doing a special every year, that is a tough task.
Mm-hmm.
That means within 12 months, you need to not only think of new premises, write those jokes,
Yeah,
perform those
Yeah.
at clubs that are going to be honest, right? Because the last thing you want is to be a comic who comes on stage and then you're only getting applause because of your name.
Okay.
You need honest feedback. That's why a lot of comics will drop in on comedy clubs and like, hey, can I do 20 minutes? And now it's a surprise. The crowd doesn't even know that they're there.
So they didn't even come for that person. So this is just a group of random people. Not
And that's where they get, like Chris Rock, when he was working on this new special, the honest, or what was it, Outrage,
Selective which was Outrage. Good. I'm not a huge Chris Rock fan, and this shit was hilarious.
I feel like I'm going to get heat for this. I know he started his career on the Chris Rock voice. I'm not a fan of it in the later years. It feels almost like you ever have like a dad joke?
That like a bunch of forced dad jokes.
No, it wasn't. The content was fine. It felt like a regression in his career. Whereas just being like, listen, people, instead he was like, listen, people. You know?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't need the voice from Chris Rock. I know who that Chris Rock is. I want to know who this Chris Rock is. Because each special should, in my eyes, be an elevated era of that person. When you think about good musicians, how many times have they reinvented themselves? How many times have they looked at something from a different angle, right? I don't need Chris Rock from, Saturday Night Live. I need Chris Rock.
I forgot he was on there. See, it's funny you say that because his older specials, his voice annoyed me. And that's why I didn't really enjoy him because I found his voice annoying.
But you listen to Tambourines.
Tambourine, I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I actually do remember
good.
we talked about that. I enjoyed Tambourine, and I enjoyed this one. Although I will say, this one felt like Dave Chappelle. It felt a lot like listening to Dave Chappelle's content to me.
Sure.
Like the stuff he chose to talk about.
Yeah. And I mean, that's no knock to him.
No, right.
That's like saying, like, I shoot free throws like Michael Jordan. Like,
right.
That's the best.
Yeah, that's
right.
like, that's not a disrespect. Like,
in some aspects, it feels like if that conversation has to say, it feels like this and it doesn't feel like them, that's where, like, that's what my goal is, right? Like, I want to be a good enough comedian where every fucking time I release a special, it is a new chapter in my life. It is a new thing that I can present to people. And that's what I feel like, because it is sometimes that impactful. When you watch a really good filmed special, you're telling everybody.
Yeah.
yeah.
And word of mouth is so much stronger than fucking social media, right? So, like, to be that polarizing, why was Dave Chappelle's specials released back to back to back to back like that? Relevancy, one thing. Second,
Trap phone.
he was so, like, just buttery with the way he was presenting the jokes. The material, knew it was solid. And he had like a whole team around him to make it happen. And then I'm going on a hiatus. Now he's not going to release a special. I think he said he might do one more. But it's the same. It's like the Eddie Murphy thing. It's like, will he come back? It's so polarizing. But each one of those specials individually felt like a chapter in his life, even though they were probably recorded in the same. That's what's so amazing about Dave Chappelle is that they were probably all recorded in the same like year or two.
But it shows difference.
But it's different.
You're right.
On each
Even
one.
down to where it was not so much I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but it didn't feel like he was delivering jokes. It just felt like I was having a conversation with somebody.
Nah, yeah.
And during the conversation, he was saying something that was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, and he talked about some serious shit, having a conversation, but he just said funny shit versus in the, earlier in his career, I feel like he was telling a joke. I don't know if that, if I'm expressing that correctly.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it goes, right? Like Dave Chappelle was really good because he started really young and was naturally funny. His pantomimes and the way he was able to express the situations. Like one of my favorite jokes is I can't remember if it was on I forget which special it was on, but he talks about the homeless man that was jerking off, and even him just doing like the aggressive motion of just that motion itself. Like I study stuff like that, like looking at like, why is it funny? If I just did this, it's kind of funny, but when I put my whole body, like you know what I'm saying? Just that subtle difference. And then when it describes it, and when he goes, he fucking pops, and he takes the mic, and he's like, the dude came, and the mic's like moving like sperm, right? Like just those subtle like touches to a joke, because that joke didn't start off like that, but he learned like, oh shit, you know what's really funny? Like if I were to fucking, like, and then he talks about like he had to dodge it like the Matrix.
That shit was funny. I do remember that shit.
I do remember. Now that and it's funny because you talked about the imagery meshes. That made me remember the skit.
And you remember him like in the fucking big baggy flannel, big ass jeans, Timbs. I
don't want to cut you short, but the computer is going to cut us all short in a second. Sure. What is your final thought? We'll start with you since you've been quiet for a while.
Oh man, final thoughts. Thanks for having us. I don't know. So what's up?
Any social media you want to promote or anything? No, you good? Okay.
Get me in trouble.
I'm assuming I'm next.
You are. I was just gonna say it's unfortunate, ladies. He's very handsome. Looks like his father.
And very married.
Huh?
Yeah, and very married.
Very married. And I love my daughter-in-law to death.
Yeah.
Don't get us all killed now.
Well, there was that one time in Spain with that dude, right?
Oh, hey, yo.
I got nervous for him. Like, what?
I was like, hey, cut his mic.
It's been off the whole time, actually. Yeah, you're a good kid.
What's your final thought, sir?
Sorry. Yeah, you guys can follow me, Nicked at Night, on Instagram. My link tree's in there. So it's Nicked, NICKED _@AT_night, just spelt normal. And I think that's normal. Yeah, GHT. Yeah, I'm not recording a special anytime soon, but if you're down in the Wilmington area or
it's North Carolina.
Yeah, it's North Carolina, not Maryland, right? I would assume you guys call it Maryland up here, the real Maryland. Yeah, whatever. This is my first time being here in Delaware.
You're not infantry, right?
I used to be.
Oh shit! Used to be.
Yeah.
This motherfucker can't read a map.
Yeah, that's where I learned how to take a punch.
Go fuck yourself.
No, but if you guys could give me a follow if you enjoyed the episode, thanks. That'd be great.
Do you plan on touring outside of your locale?
Yeah. The way I foresee the next, because I got 10 years left until 20-year retirement. So, I'll be getting a check for my retirement. And the plan is to be good enough at comedy at that point to just get out and start diving in 100%.
That's what's up.
That's dope. Why them glasses be thick as shit when
they
are, bro. Look at how I'm looking through the bottom of this fucking glass.
He said, "Excuse me."
No, but it'd be dope if you did a setup here. We'd all come out and support.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool.
North Carolina.
It's a lot hard. It's cutthroat, especially up here. So I've been out of school for the last 2 weeks, and even just getting on a fucking open mic is like a process. Whereas like down there by us, it's like just fucking show up, sign up, you're on.
You just gotta step on the
you gotta fill out.
The stack
Dude,
of pallets, right?
It was the first time I have ever had to fill out a Google Doc to do anything in my life.
Oh shit.
And they were like, yeah, fill out the Google Doc and then submit it. I'm like, to who? y'all watching my phone or something? What's going on? No, but there's just a lot of comics. That's why.
All right. You waiting for my final thought?
Yes, sir.
Nigga, you could have said that.
I was trying to before you cut me off.
You just looking at me like, what the fuck?
I turned over like you normally
First
do in
of
a
all,
conversation. You look at somebody.
He making this shit weird. My final thought is be true with who the fuck you are, do the best you can to be great, and focus on what you love in life.
My final thought.
I thought he was looking at Christian. I was like, he already went. I didn't know we were getting round 2 in this motherfucker.
Oh shit! My final thought. I'm gonna use the Zach one. Love your village. Love your village, and that's it.
That's what you said last one?
No,
Oh, you said get a village.
I said get a village, and love them motherfuckers. I had this concept that you need a village to be successful. Everybody wants to tell the story about how they did it on their own, but nobody did it on their own.
Yeah, 100%.
You need a village.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
So, welcome to our village, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. We appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
Like I said, we kind of felt kind of special because it was like, yo, D, somebody asked to be on the show.
Yeah.
And I had to read it like 3 times. Like,
Yeah.
he wants to be on the show. This is so
Can
cool.
I say that you also text like you're old?
Do I really?
Yo, it is so
I can
straight
tell
to
which
the
one of
point,
us you're
bro.
talking to.
Yeah. I was like,
The
yo.
periods after
What
everything
the
makes me think
fuck?
he's so
Yeah.
serious. You're like, what the fuck is he
My
mad
wife does
for?
that shit. My wife does that shit where she'll do, she'll say something, she'll text me something, and then it's ... I'm like, yo, what the fuck did I do? What did I do? And then I'm like, yo, why'd you give me the dots? Yeah. I was like, why'd you give me the dots? She's like, well, because I'm waiting for your response. I was like, in any other part of the world, that means you have a problem with me. Everybody knows that. You're not waiting. It's not a hanging sentence.
I try to get into the IDKs, IRLs, and then
No, don't do that.
I be thinking to myself, my mother paid a lot of money for me to go to private school. I need to write a sentence grammatically correct sometimes. So I save contacts in my phone, first and last name as well.
My mom sent me
First
to
of all,
public
nigga,
school.
Get my last name out your phone. No, I don't care.
Hey, get my government out of shit.
I'm already going by my fucking real name, so
My
last name
my
out.
mom sent me to public
He
school.
seems
So
serious. Like, I'm really going to go delete my number out of his phone. Like, I'm going to stop recording the show to go delete your number out of my phone. Anyway, before we keep going on,
yeah, we definitely was good.
stay
Keep going.
tuned. We'll be back next week. It was great having you, Nick.
thanks.
Chris, it was great having you, but we'll see you next week, aka 15 minutes. Listen and watch and listen. Nick dropped a lot of knowledge here. Dude is funny. Podcast is great. Make sure you go check both of them out. The links will be in the bottom in the description, and they flashed across the screen. And that's it for me.
Make sure you go get some merch at WTCmerch.com. Make sure you follow us on all social media at Warm the Crib across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On TikTok, we are Warm the Crib Podcast. I'm only saving TikTok because I use the videos from that to put on YouTube because when we do the YouTube shorts, that shit be too wide.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I still have TikTok.
Okay.
But yeah, follow us on all that shit. We appreciate all the love.
I have a problem with being too wide as well.
We will give you guys the code. Now that the merch line is launched, you get a special code for a percentage off to buy yourself a piece of history. Yeah, piece of history.
Piece of history.
Frame it,
Or wear it, whatever. As long as your credit card is valid. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. But thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Until then, peace.
I put the fingers up. I ain't catch it.